she's going to walk away. If I want her to stop, if I need this cow to stop and she's running away from me, the best way to do that would certainly not be to chase after her. The best way to do that would be to back away from her. See, if I go like this and try to get her sideways, she's going to look at me. That's going to cause her to pause. Right here, pause. Okay, so we want to be in front of the cow. And as I walk the opposite direction of her, she's going to speed up. As I walk along with her, she's going to slow down. You see that? And she turns towards me again. I'm going to walk along with her. She's going to walk fairly slowly. If I walk this way, she's going to speed up. Okay? Walk along with her. So what you want to do is you want to get to this point on the cow to slow her down. And if you go, I went a little bit too far there. So when I got past her point of balance, which is right at the withers, notice how she turned around and went the other way. Now I'm going to try to get this cow to turn away from me, and you're going to see how difficult that is. She's going to, see, she doesn't really want to turn because she can't see me when she turns around, and that scares her a little bit. She'll do it, but you want to allow the cow to turn towards you, and that will keep her calmer, and it'll make your job a little bit easier. One other thing about flight zone is that you can influence how large the flight zone is. If you noticed at the beginning, this cow moved really, really fast when I came towards her. And now that I've been working with her for a little while, I can get a lot closer to her before she moves. The other thing you need to understand is the amount of speed that I come at this cow with will influence her flight zone too. So if I start walking at this cow in a real hurry, she's going to move a little bit faster than if I just kind of come up to her real easy. She's going to give me a little bit more time. She's also going to, we want to maintain a little bit of a flight zone. Because if I didn't have a flight zone at all on this cow, I could push on her all day long and not get her to move. And that's when you have cow flow problems in the parlor. So what I don't want to do is get this cow so used to me that she doesn't move when I move. That can happen really easily with a lame cow because those cows are sore and they're not as afraid of you as they are of moving, because that's going to hurt them. So we want to be really careful about how we use our flight zone, especially in a lame cow. And even in this cow, I don't want this cow to get too used to being around me. I don't want to get her so that I can pet on her, because when I do that, I'm going to lose control of her. I also don't want this cow so that if I'm standing right over here, to a comfortable distance, I don't want her to be going, oh, I've got to get away from this. So I want her to have a flight zone that's a comfortable distance away so I don't get kicked while I'm working with her. And I don't want it to be so far away that I can't control what she does. So if this cow were 20 feet from me, it'd be an awful lot harder for me to say, okay, move forward and stop, okay? Because if I had to be 20 feet away from her, she would not be able to read those signals as easily. Forward and stop. Notice how I left her flight zone. I came into it and left it. But what you don't want to do is, this cow isn't moving really well, so I don't want to stand here and go like this and keep my hand on her while she keeps moving. Because if I do that, she's going to figure out that that doesn't do me any good. I move and she stays with me. So what I want to do is allow her to move, and then as soon as she does, stay off of her. I don't want to turn her into a pet. I want to allow her to move and then stay off of her. So back away from the animal after she moves. That'll maintain your flight zone so that you can use it.
So what we're going to talk about here is how this heifer, who is a younger animal and not used to being worked with, has a different flight zone. The whole concept of moving the animal is very similar as an older cow that's been worked with. However, this animal has not been worked with very much, and so we need to just show how cows will, or younger animals will react differently. Similarly, but differently. So as you can see, she's already excited, and all I did was take one step towards her. When I do approach her, she's going to run past me, and she's not going to walk like that cow. She will probably run. So she walks. As you see, she's probably pretty much doing anything she can to get away from me. She's not comfortable with me near her. And just as we were talking about that they're not used to being worked with, I will back up and she'll slow down. So the biggest difference here between a cow and a heifer is that the flight zone is much, much bigger. I can walk towards her. She can't see me real well where I'm at right now. Now she can see me, and whenever she moves, she's basically running wherever she goes. So when you do want to move an animal that hasn't been worked with much, that's young, you just want to make sure that you respect their flight zone from a further distance. Our heifers are together now, all three of them. The one on the far left is the heifer that we just had separated by herself. If you watch them and just see how they're walking about, the heifer in the front walking across there is very excited. She has her ears up, ears forward. She's again trying to look to get out. She doesn't want to be separated from the rest of the herd. The two heifers on the left are real calm. Their ears are down. They're alert, they're looking at us, they're paying attention, but if I approach them, they're acting pretty calm and quiet. So we're just showing examples of how different animals act differently. These are all similar aged heifers, but different personalities and just different flight zones. If I walk and approach them, this one, her ears are, she's alert, she's looking at me, but she's not real concerned. Of course, our heifer in the back is the one that's running. She's very upset and a little agitated that we've already been bothering her, but for the most part, the two on the outside are the calmer animals. A real common piece of litter that's usually around on dairy farms is plastic. And cows are naturally curious, and so they'll stop and look at things that are different to them. And when there's things that are lying in the alleyways where you're trying to move animals, their curiosity basically interrupts the flow of the animals. So it's really important to make sure that you keep walkways, alleyways, parlors, everything that you move animals in, free of debris and things that are not typical for cows. Their cow flow is going to be interrupted by this simple little piece of litter here that's on the aisleway. As you can see, every cow stops, she looks at it, she sniffs it. Things out of the ordinary almost always disrupt cow flow. So as you can see that they're slowing down. Even that minor little slowdown is still disrupting overall cow flow.
So these cows are going to want to try to go through the parlor like they always do. In order to get them to move out, I don't want to go up there and try to chase those cows out because they're facing the wrong direction. You can see that cows like to follow each other. They're going to go the direction the other cow wants to go. So the last thing I want to do is go up there and chase on those when these are just going to come right around me. And they'll move faster as they move around me. If I want them to speed up, I'll just walk towards them like this. Okay? And I don't have to worry about those cows up there. If I need to get them out of the pen, all I have to do is start moving these ones up front. This big white cow doesn't really want to move. All I got to do is walk up by her, and she'll follow that other one. Let the cows lead each other. Don't get back behind them and try to make them go.